If the cows are nervous and the horses are nervous, the bees should be. Why are these so long? Nice honey in there. I smell aromas of sainfoin.
What?
Sunflower. There's about 3 dandelions. Oh, that's Washington thistle. There's about 36 mulleins in here. Yep, that's all I smell. Oh, that's aggressive. $50. Nice. Toasty. 50 degrees in there. Welcome everybody. This is the Garden Beehive channel. My name's Chris. Now, if you have been thinking about, fantasizing about having your own bees in your backyard, your farm, your garden, wherever that might be, boom, you are in the right place. If you've tried to keep bees before in a standard Langstroth hive and have had challenges, probably more due to winter die-off more than anything else, welcome, you're in the right place. Now, on the other hand, if you have been secretly looking through the door at a horizontal or Layens hive and you either are keeping or have kept your standard Langstroth hive, don't worry, I won't tell anybody, it'll be between us, but you are also in the right place. Now, because the topic can be a bit controversial, if you're one of those, what do we call them, keyboard warriors, and maybe don't have a lot of positive things to say, dude, you're in the wrong place. So nothing to see here, go ahead and move along. So the goal behind this channel is to create, my real hope is that we can create a community of people that are interested in keeping bees, doing it in a simplified way that doesn't take, is that a bee or a, surprisingly, so it's, I'll try and show you. So outside temperature where it's not sunny, so shady. 40, it's not 42 degrees out here. 39. I think these hives are too good at keeping heat. What could we, maybe the rock? 38. None of those are right. Hey Siri, what's the outside temperature?
It's 35 degrees outside.
35 degrees outside, and I can't even get 35 on these hives. Anyway, like I was saying, the hope is that we can create a community of people that want to successfully keep bees without chemicals, without the pesticides, without all these things that are killing the bees, not spend a whole bunch of money trying to raise bees in a way that it is not natural for them to have a hive, especially in the winter. So if you're in a northern climate, mid-country, I guess you would say, if you actually have a winter, let's just say that, then if you're using, and you're not a commercial beekeeper, if your operation does not require a semi-truck and you're keeping those box frames that stack up vertically, which is the Langstroth hive, I'm sorry, but you're doing it wrong. Like, what are you doing? So, I think where I left off, it can be controversial, right? Langstroth, Layens hive, there's the two primary different ones. These, what you're looking at, are the Layens hive, the horizontal hive. And that's what we're going to be focused on. In my experience, in my viewpoint, this is coming much closer. It's not perfect, but it's coming much closer to a natural way of beekeeping. It is an insulated hive, so during the winter, they can keep their heat in the hive much easier. I have yet, knock on wood, right? So this is my weakest hive. Their temperature was 50 degrees just a couple minutes ago when I took that. Inside at the bottom, heat rises, so the colony is in the middle. Who knows what that temperature is in the middle of the hive where all the bees are kind of together. In any case, so just to set the record straight so nobody has a misunderstanding, the Langstroth hive has its place, and that, in my view, is in a commercial beekeeping setting. If you're focused on profitability within a company or an organization that is primarily responsible for creating profit, that's the way to go. If your focus is on the health and the quality of your colonies of bees, the Layens hive is the way to go. So you just need to determine what end you're on. Now, I'm going to try and do this commercially, not on a huge, thousands of hives kind of way, but hopefully my goal is 100, 150 hives to prove that you could do it on a small commercial setting with a Layens hive. I might completely fail and fall on my face, but I have no doubt, I'm 100% positive that the Layens hive is the way to go for the garden type hive, what I refer to as a garden hive. There's so many people that mention they've always thought about keeping bees, always wanted to keep bees. They've tried to keep bees and the bees die in the winter. It could be too much moisture. It could be too poor ventilation. It could more likely be that it got too cold with a mixture of moisture. So that's what we're going to cover. If you're a commercial beekeeper, probably you wouldn't be watching this, I'm guessing, and probably not what you would be interested in. But for everyone else, thank you for being here. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. While we're on that subject, if you would like, subscribe. I think it's down in one of these corners to the channel to get updates. My objective here is we're going to split these up, not necessarily in super long videos. Did you see that pine cone almost fall on my head? There's been more pine cones that have dropped this year than I've ever seen here. So I don't know what's up with that. Sidetrack. I want to do individual videos on a subject. So this is the what the heck is this channel about video. The next one is going to be about the Layens hive itself and where can you get it. And then we'll kind of go in from there. In future years, it'll be subject to seasonally what you should be doing now, what everyone else is doing now. So be sure, please, please, please add your comments in the bottom so we can have a community and a conversation in a very positive light. Now, just to clarify, I don't want to come across as I don't want any challenges. Challenges are good, but we all know how social media and the people on their keyboards can be a little negative and a little Karen-like, right? So challenge everything that I say is great. Hey, why do you do this? Why do you do that? How can I do this in a positive light so all of us can learn together and start keeping bees, have our neighbors keep bees. Bees are so important to the environment, as we all know. And it's just fascinating. If you either have tried or have seen, you probably understand this. But if you haven't and you've only thought about it, I am telling you, keeping bees, watching them is like watching a campfire. It just kind of pulls you in. It's absolutely fascinating. Now, to take that for a full year, so from spring to spring, so you start with your bees in early spring, and then they do their thing. That's the easy time. That's the easy time. And then once October, depending where you're at, once September, October, November hits, the challenges start to stack up, especially if you're not using the right type of hive in a northern or a climate that has a winter. Now, if you can get your bees all the way through winter and you arrive at the next spring and they're still alive, like these, it's the end of January right now, just for reference. It's been at night probably 11-ish degrees. The bees are in here. I can hear them in here. It's 50 degrees at the bottom. I put a temperature. I've got another beehive up in our upper field. We'll go see what the temperature of those guys is. They're our strongest first and original hive at this property. So I'm super happy about that. I put a little temperature probe in there a little bit ago so not this, but a physical one, because I like to do both. And they were flying around and coming out and seeing what's going on. And it's winter. So if you can get all the way through winter, arrive at the next spring and your bees are alive and active, it is a hallelujah moment. The sweet part, pun intended, is in the fall. Yes, fall, not in the summer or late summer, but all the way into the fall. That's when we're going to collect our honey at the end of the year. The bees have already separated. They are showing you, hey, this is what we need for the winter. These are our winter stores. This is what's extra that you can have. It makes it super simple. We're going to pull that honey. That is a challenge, and we'll go over that. How do I extract the honey and not make a mess and stress myself out? Getting that honey is the sweet reward. It is beautiful, it is sweet, it is delicious. Every area is a little bit different depending on the pollen sources. This is an absolutely fascinating hobby to get into. And you can do it, if you're looking at years in the future, you can do it for less doing it this way, although the entry cost, if you will, is going to be high. But not having to buy bees, one, not having to continually buy bees every year, which is going to be anywhere, depending on where you're at, probably $150 to $300 for a good colony. And you should not just have one. These hives, you can put 2 colonies in, or you can get multiple of these, but that's probably a little advanced. I've got 2 right here. I don't think you can see the other one. You can get 2 and have 4 colonies, because weak colonies are by nature going to die off, and they should, because they're weak. As long as we, the human, the hive itself that we put them in, is not the culprit, then that's just nature taking its course, and that's okay. We will only want the strongest colonies to thrive and to live and to continue on and to pass their genetics on to. I think we're going a little bit too far. That's what this channel is about. I'm super glad you're here. Leave your questions down below so that I can answer them or tackle them, or the community itself, all of us, can look at that question and go, how can we overcome this? How can we make this successful for the bees, number 1, for nature, number 2, and for us, 3rd. We're at the bottom of the list. I hope that covers everything that I wanted to go over for what is the channel, why should you be here, why should you hit that subscribe button in whatever corner it is, and how you can, this is going to be amazing. I'm just so excited about this. You're going to be able to raise bees. You're going to use an insulated hive, and you're going to have the sweetest of honey. One other thing, if you're thinking, if you're in a southern warm climate, why in that would I use an insulated hive? In hot temperatures, last summer here was one of the hottest summers we've had, super dry, forest fires. It was just a messed up year. I have never seen what they refer to as bearding. So that's when all the bees are on the outside of the hive and you see where the entrance is, all these bees are collecting here. It's because it's too hot inside. You don't want that. So I have never seen one of these hives beard. It can be 100 plus. I don't know that it's been maybe 102 max in this location. We are in southeast Washington for reference, where when I started with the Langstroth hives, if it got over 90 degrees, it never failed. The bees were bearding on the outside because it's just simply too hot on the inside. So yes, in a southern climate, an insulated hive is still a good way to go for all of you garden beekeepers. All right, let's go up to the other hive. We're going to see what the temperature is inside that hive, just out of curiosity. The end of January, nighttime temps are right down in the 11, 12, 13 degrees range currently. And what was it, 35 degrees currently outside right now. Okay, so we are up at the other hive. This is so crazy. The bees are flying around. So they'll go out and do, in the winter, very normal for them to go out and do a cleansing flight. I wish there was more snow right around here because you could see all the little droppings from the bees, which is always somewhat interesting. I don't see any out here. I think they come out and collect a little bit of moisture too. So some moisture on the outside of a hive. Where's the sun? Is that better? Some moisture on the inside of the hive is okay because they can pull that moisture for water. But the mixture of cold and too much humidity that may be dropping from the top, that's certain death. Okay, so Luria, no. So that one, that is crazy. So I'll show you here in a second, but this particular hive, if you get too close in the winter, they get a little sassy. So it was 68.7 inside the hive. I'll put the camera closer so you can see. It's so cool. The end of January. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, so there is that, but 68 degrees in there? I think the bees are probably on top of or around the sensor for the temperature. It's gotta be. So 64% humidity inside the hive, if you guys saw that, and then it shows the dew point. I'm not real. I think if the dew point gets, the closer the dew point gets to the temperature is when you're going to have like too much moisture that's dripping. You guys may know more than that than I could. So here's a community benefit. You guys can put that down below in the comments and we can all learn from that. But that seems super healthy in there. But I'm thinking it's probably, if it shows that right now it's 67.8, my gut sense is it's probably closer to maybe 58, closer to 60 degrees. But if the bees are all around that sensor, it's probably going to show a higher temperature than what it actually is. But there you go. I have yet to lose a hive or a colony with these Layens hives. They're just, the insulated hive is just the way to go. Absolutely. I've got a niece and nephew that are challenged with having a Langstroth hive. I think 2 or 3 years in a row they've lost all their bees. I've got another friend of mine that caught some wild swarms this last late spring, and he lost his as well this winter. I never successfully kept bees in a Langstroth hive over the winter. Too much moisture. We were in the Pacific Northwest at that time. Just way too much moisture, and just a disaster, quite frankly. But yeah, this is cool. You're going to love it. If you've not done this before, you are absolutely going to love it. It is so fascinating. The honey is super good. And you're doing the right thing for nature. Don't give your bees, please, please, please stop treating your bees for varroa mites, moths, other things. We're going to learn how to do this where the colony itself is strong enough to take care of all outside issues. We'll get into that deeper later, but I don't use any treatments of any kind. I don't use any sugar water of any kind. I don't use any pollen patties, sugar patties, none of that. You know, bees have been on Earth for well over 100 million years and done just fine until us, the human, came along and thought we could make things better for them. We're going to let the bees do their bee thing because they know what's going on. We're going to provide them the best possible house to live in. They're going to give us extra honey as a benefit, as a thank you, and everybody's going to be happy. We'll see you on the next one.